Hey guys, big video today. Big video. Um, Today we're reviewing deodorant. I guess just, I would put it specific to a brand of deodorant, I guess. Like I would, if I would otherwise choose kind of a singular, and I guess I might choose kind of Old Spice deodorant and put that in the title. I otherwise might just call it a deodorant big review. But I think I could call it probably Old Spice deodorant review to get that kind of that SEO, that kind of the tag in there of Old Spice, that when people search up Old Spice, then that might increase. Then somebody might click on that. Somebody might, if they saw an Old Spice deodorant in the thumbnail and they saw the title of Old Spice in the title and the words Old Spice in the title, then that might be something that they would be likelier to click on. So I think I might do that. I might put Old Spice deodorant big review in the title. But the reason I was considering just calling it deodorant big review is because I have more than one kind of deodorant to review today. One of them does include Old Spice, so the Old Spice deodorant is still accurate. And I'll prove that here. But so this is one of the deodorants that I would review, Old Spice Sweat Defense. And the other one that I would review would be Everyman Jack brand, but that's like a less recognizable brand of deodorant, so that's why I would put Old Spice deodorant in the title, because Old Spice is a little bit more known compared to Everyman Jack, and there's like Old Spice commercials and everything that are kind of goofy. So that's why I would put Old Spice deodorant in the title. But anyway, so let's get on to the review. The reason I wanted the kind of cool observation that I have about, I guess it might be different for other people. Some other people might have, their own kind of deodorant related experiences with deodorants, that differ from mine. This might not be the universal deodorant experience. But I figured I would kind of share my personal deodorant related experience. Maybe I should start. Yeah, I'll start with the Everyman. I'll start with the Everyman Jack. That's not related to the deodorant. I'll start with the Everyman Jack deodorant, and I'll start with that because I would trust this deodorant, right? Like I would not when I first bought it, I would try this deodorant and see if I could trust it, right? And what I mean by that is, how long does it last? And I don't think it says, no, it doesn't make any claims to how long it lasts. Oh, it says long lasting. Okay, so it does make a lasting length related claim. It says get long lasting odor protection with our deodorant made from corn derived propanediol. Okay, so they do make a lasting, they say it's long lasting. So I guess I would say, if by long you mean 3 hours, would you consider that long? I would personally not consider that long. So I guess I would disagree. I might consider that something like short lasting. I might not call that long lasting. I think long lasting would be something akin to 24 hours or maybe even 12. But 3 hours, and I start smelling. I start getting stinky. If you know what I'm saying, the fellas will know what I'm talking about. I would not consider that very long. And so I would say my experience with that deodorant is probably negative. That's only after a couple uses. And so here I am, the fool who kind of took a risk. When you buy a new deodorant that you haven't purchased before, you kind of take a risk. I mean, you can't like try it in the store and then not buy it and just walk out. You could do that, I guess, in theory, but like, I don't know about the ethical kind of implications of that, but but I don't do that. So what I do is I purchase the deodorant and then I try it at home, and then I kind of find out. You kind of take that risk when you do that. And so I purchased that deodorant and I tried it, and it didn't last very long, roughly 3 hours. And so I would say that doesn't work very well, at least for me. And maybe it works differently for other people. Like I'm saying, this could be a very unique deodorant-esque type experience, but for me, didn't work. But here I am with this stick of deodorant that is no longer usable to me, I guess, in the same capacity that it would be unless I apply it for every 3 hours, which is just kind of a pain. So instead, I took a risk on another deodorant, and I took that risk on this one, this Old Spice Sweat Defense, and right there it says for 48 hours. So I guess, and so like, okay, so I'll start by saying that I like this one better. It does last longer. I would say this is long lasting compared to the other one. And so, and that says 48 hours. And I would say that's probably correct. Like I would probably agree with the length of time there. Like I still do smell it a little bit even after a shower. Maybe if I didn't shower in 48 hours, maybe I would smell it a little bit more, but I do still smell a little bit of it even after 48 hours with a shower. Probably not as much with 2 showers, I would say. I think probably less, but probably with just one shower, I do smell a little bit of it, and it does last a long time. And so, I think part of that is, so this says that it is an antiperspirant and a deodorant. And so I'm wondering if it's that kind of antiperspirant element that kind of allows for longer lasting. Like as far as the Everyman Jack, I was just checking the label on the Everyman Jack, and I think it just says deodorant right there. Focus. It just says deodorant. It's not an antiperspirant. So, I wonder if that's part of the kind of, guarantee of it. Besides being a little bit more specific, like this one says 48 hours. I guess I now trust, that's 48 hours. Whereas the long lasting, I guess I trust less now because there's no specific. I think the specificity of the number, of having the number of what you're claiming the length of time to be, having that on the deodorant and that being accurate, I think that helps with your claim, and whether or not people can trust whether that is, as long as you say it is. And so now I trust that. And so another part of this, so it works well. So I'll say that the Old Spice deodorant does work well. What I also want to say is that, remember when I talked about Everyman Jack, that's only a 3-hour deodorant. I guess, that's just going to be sitting on a shelf and not being used, right? Otherwise, unless I have some kind of engagement that is shorter lasting, roughly 3 hours, where I know I'm going to be out for 3 hours and back in 3 hours, right? And then I would, and then I wouldn't have to reapply. I would just only need that, and I wouldn't need the 48 hours for a 3 hours thing. So for that purpose, I guess there is some purpose, but that would just take a long time. And so what I found is that, usually with this one, I'll do 2 swipes, up, down on the left, up, down on the right. And, I'll do 2 swipes, and that gets me that 48 hours. But, and that uses that amount. And, it takes 2 turns. Sorry, it's not 2 swipes. I'm sorry. So this one's kind of I would take the lid off to kind of show you. This one's a little bit more of a, it's powder-esque. I don't know what to call it. It's a little bit creamier, I would say, I guess, or kind of like a creamy powder, I guess. And the way that you dispense of it is you twist this knob. So this takes 2 twists of the knob. I would do more swipes because, the twist of the knob kind of dictates the amount that you get. And so I would do 2 twists of the knob and do multiple swipes. Probably, I could do as many swipes as I wanted and it wouldn't change the amount that's dispensed. That would be controlled by the twists. So I would do 2 twists. 2 twists gets me roughly 48 hours. And so that is how much I would need for that amount of time. And then I would and that's just using that, and that's sufficient. But then I had the idea to help use up the Everyman Jack. I was like, well, what if I did 1 twist of the Old Spice and then, like 3 swipes. So like up, down, up, or down, or up, down, up, like 3 swipes of this. And so you kind of get like half and half of each, and you're kind of still using this, and maybe, maybe that lasts longer. I actually don't know, but like it kind of lets me use up this a little bit faster, because I kind of want to be done with this faster and just kind of get this out of my house, right? The less stuff, the better. And so I think, and so I've been finding that using the 1 twist of the Old Spice and the 3 swipes of the Everyman Jack has been, I'll change it up every now and then. Some days I'll do 2 twists and multiple swipes of the Old Spice deodorant, and some days I'll do 1 twist with multiple swipes of the Old Spice deodorant, and some days, and that same day, use multiple swipes, 3 swipes of the Everyman Jack. Sometimes I'll do that, and then that will help me use the Everyman Jack faster. So the reason I would do that is to use up the Everyman Jack, so that is kind of in the trash can sooner and out of my apartment sooner. And that's what that purpose is. So, but if I were to compare the two, right? If I were to compare, so, I mean, obviously the Everyman Jack would be a 1 out of 10 if I were to review them, which I am giving them a score. I would give the Everyman Jack a 1 out of 10, and I would give, the Old Spice, I would give a 9 out of 10, because it works quite well, by itself or in combination with deodorants that I'm less a fan of. And because the video is titled Old Spice deodorant, then that would be the score that I use, would be the 9 out of 10. I'll just throw in the 1 out of 10 for the Everyman Jack, but I think the thing I'm reviewing, I guess technically, because it's in the title, is Old Spice deodorant. I would give that a 9 out of 10. Thank you.